Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to askNK. Today we're taking a look at Megascan Trees, the European Black Alder collection that is now in early access, and a huge shout out to the folks at QUAKE for making this one available. So this is a tree asset pack that comes with 22 unique trees, 9 forest trees, 5 field trees, 6 sampling, and also 2 seedlings. Now there is a huge potential with this one, and folks at QUAKE have gone through to study how the biology of trees work, and then they've recreated all of these trees for possible real-time performance. And the beauty about all of this is you can actually go ahead and download this, play with it, tweak it to your liking, and use it right now in your games and also in your cinematic shot. So with this said, let's dive directly into Unreal Engine and check out how this works. Meanwhile, if you like to get this, it's worth knowing that this asset pack is an 8 gig asset pack, which means you need to download this and add it to your Unreal Engine project. The versions of Unreal Engine that you need is from 4.25 all the way to 4.27. And in this case, we've actually done all of that since we're running Unreal Engine 4.26. So once you add this to your project and open it up, you would notice they have 2 folders, the Black Alder and also the Megascan preset. Now it makes sense to go over to the Black Alder and open it up, and you notice we have 4 folders that deals with the geometry, map, materials, and also textures. And inside the geometry, we also have 2 types of folders that exist right there. The first one is the Pivot Painter, and the second one is the Simple Wind. The Simple Wind is best for those creating games for consoles and all that, while the Pivot Painter is for those creating cinematic shots, because first off, the texture size that you get with the Pivot Painter deals with 8K, and again, the Pivot Painter trees respond to subtle wind changes, contrary to what we have with the Simple Wind that just has like one gigantic wind change. So if we open up the geometry and go over to where we have the Pivot Painter, we can click and drag one of these and drop it right there. Tapping F on the keyboard will make us focus on that, and of course you can travel through and see what this looks like. So let's just dive in there and check it out, and you would notice, first off, let's take a look at the branches, the backs, and also the leaves, and you would see how cool this is. Very realistic looking stuff. You can see all of them. Let's make sure we're having our settings cranked all the way up. Go over to epic. We wanted epic, and we're also going to set these to cinematic. Nice. And we can, just go ahead and preview this. So like I mentioned earlier, this has 22 trees, and you can do fun stuff with it. You can also bring in another one, so you can get that there. You can also get this other one. And to think about these things as being free is just mind-blowing. So there's something else I think we need to mention about this. One of them has to do with the idea that despite the fact that we have these trees, there is a practical idea behind it. The first one which we brought out is more of a field tree, which you can actually see right here, called field. And this makes sense because most trees that are grown on fields, they have the liberty of enjoying sunlight, they don't have clusters, and they blossom a lot, contrary to the forest ones that we have here. And you can see the entire idea behind forest trees as they actually grow all the way up and try to battle for sunlight. And that is why if you go closer to them, let's just get a bit closer. If you get closer to them, you would see that right underneath, they're losing their leaves, while right on top of here, we have more leaves. So there is an entire biological idea that has been taken into account and studied while creating this. And this goes all the way to how the tree responds to wind and all that. So to actually take a look at how the tree responds to wind, season, and also how they get to shed, it makes sense to see that folks at QUAKE has also created the Megascan preset that deals with a global foliage actor. So what is this? If you simply open this up, you would notice that we have a blueprint that is called the global foliage actor that we can click, drag, and drop directly within our viewport. Tapping F on the keyboard presents us with a tiny widget, which makes it even more easier for you to understand what's going on in your scene. So what does this do? This actually helps you control the wind noise, control the wind speed, the strength of the wind, and also the season and health of your trees. Let's actually just rotate this. I'm just going to rotate this all the way to a point like so. All right. So if we rotate this and then we start playing with the wind noise, you can see it actually tells us where the wind is blowing from. Now, if I go a bit closer, you can also see that we're having this windsock reflect how much of a wind we're getting. If we start increasing the wind speed in this case, you would also notice that the windsock sort of responds to it. So let's go ahead and increase the strength of the wind, and you can also notice that the windsock actually starts behaving in that manner. So the more you increase the wind, you get to see a real-time playback of how these things affect the entire trees that you have, and you can actually go ahead and preview these things all by yourself. So let's go all the way back and check it out. Now, you can also make sense out of this owing to the fact that you can use the blueprints to control the health. So I'm just going to go back and, reset all these things to what they were previously, and then we would proceed to play with the health. So if you crank this all the way down, you would notice that your trees begin to shed as they begin to lose their health status. The same thing happens with the season saturation, the season brightness, and also the season strength. Something else that makes a lot of sense is if you select any of these trees, you have a list of materials that exist. So you can double click on any of these materials, go over to the properties sections and start making changes. And these changes ranges from the tinting of the trees all the way to how you like the roughness, the translucency, specularity, and also with the normals. It's also worth mentioning that there is a basic and also an advanced mode that exists within the tree materials. So just in case you like to tweak your tree materials to the most possible best that you want, you have all of this creative freedom and you can get the most out of them. It also makes sense to know that you can choose to paint as much trees as you want. So to check this, what we need to do, let's undo that. What we need to do is we would have to go over to our mode, switch over to foliage, and then we already have some trees loaded there. But of course, if you like to load in some trees, you can choose to select any one you want and load them right in. So you can select any of these things, load them there, and then with your foliage brush, make sure that you have the appropriate size that you want. So in this case, we might just crank this size just about a point like that, and the density looks good. Let's zoom all the way out and see what we can do. Actually, before we do that, let me just get rid of all these other ones. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. Do we have any more foliage there? Yep. So we have this other one and good. Nice. So if we get this happening, let's also go all the way up and see this from the top. Nice. So if we have this happening, we can go over to the paint section and now we can paint as much trees as we want. So in this case, you can easily paint trees wherever and however you want. And let's just travel through real quick with the 3D connection mouse and you can see it. So this now starts making a lot of sense owing to the fact that you have trees that can respond to wind and also customizable trees that you can work with in real time. And it is quite beautiful to see that the folks at Quixel are actually working on creating an entire project out of this, where you'll be able to play with tons and tons of free and also high quality trees that can help you get realistic and good shots when working on your project. So this is more like it. For those who like to get this, probably want to play with it, you want to see what it does, you can simply go over to the Unreal Marketplace where you can download it and start working with it. There's a couple of technical details that is here. And at the same time, the folks at Quixel are also mentioning that at this point, this is only an Unreal Engine content. Meanwhile, if you'd like to learn more about this, they have a getting started video. And of course, there's also an announcement video that you may want to take a look at. It's also worth mentioning that Quixel does have lots and lots of things that you can grab here, and they also mentioned within the release that this will be coming to Pixel Bridge, and hopefully we might also see this in Twinmotion. So tell me what you guys think about this one in the comment section. The Megascan 3's European Black Alder is now available, and for those who like to try it, you can get your hands on the early access and give feedback to the team, as this would help them create more realistic and compelling tree assets. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.